What is up, guys? Spooky Cactus here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we've got some more spooky Festival of the Lost content for Destiny 2. Today we're taking a much closer look at the horror story, a somewhat new auto rifle added with this new event. And so let's get started. But just before we do, if you're a real gamer like me and you spent all day playing Destiny 2 and then switched on to Genshin Impact till 4 a.m. and the only reason you're functioning is because you had some advanced GG Focus, the best gaming supplement out there and the only one clinically proven. Guys, definitely check it out. Use code KHD for 10% off. Alright, now let's talk about this weapon. And interestingly, you may have caught that I said it was semi-new, and that is true. It's a returning weapon in concept, in name, in appearance from a previous year of Festival of the Lost, but this year its perk pool is entirely different. So you've got some new roles and some new perks that weren't even available last time. So that's kind of the interesting part about it. So this weapon at a base level, looking at the stats here, it's pretty average. None of the stats really stand out. It fits right into its archetype of 450 rounds per minute. And that archetype, well, in PvE, it's perfectly serviceable. Like, this is a pretty average auto rifle archetype. It's second highest damage. There is some auto rifles that do even more damage, shoot even slower, but again, in PvE it's perfectly serviceable, feels like a normal auto rifle. In PvP, however, this archetype sadly is not performing too great. I'm certain you can go out and get kills with it, but quite frankly, the 600 rounds per minute auto rifles are overperforming massively in the Crucible, not just in general, but especially when compared to some of the other auto rifle archetypes. So really no point in taking this into PvP right now, but if we see a buff to this archetype or a nerf to the 600s, this could become pretty decent. Alright, now let's talk about those perk possibilities. Alright, now in the first two columns you have your usual assortment of sights and magazine perks. We also do have interestingly accurized rounds to straight up increase the range. But when it comes to perk number one, we do have some interesting options. Firstly, we have Firmly Planted. This is going to increase your accuracy, stability, and handling while firing while crouched. And this just makes your gun a laser beam when you crouch. So especially on console, where there is a lot more recoil, Firmly Planted has actually been quite good. We also have what I think is extremely underrated for PvE, Subsistence. This makes it so that when you get kills, you automatically refund some ammo into your magazine, and if you're killing low-level red bar enemies, you can quite literally go infinite and never need to reload, especially with auto rifles that have significantly more ammo in general than something like an SMG. Subsistence is actually quite good. Like, I have a Subsistence Gnawing Hunger, and I absolutely love that thing. Now, we also have Ambitious Assassin to increase the magazine for getting multi-kills, you know, alright, but not incredible. And then we actually have Outlaw. This isn't that common on auto rifles, so precision kills greatly decrease the reload time. So it's kind of the opposite of Subsistence. You're not worried about, you know, extending your magazine, you're just reloading as fast as possible and getting on to the next one. But we also have the new perk, Killing Wind. Final blows grant increased mobility, weapon range, and handling for a short duration. This has proven itself, just added this season, to be pretty darn good, and you know, a Cold Denial pulse rifle with Killing Wind is thought of as a god roll, so seeing that here is actually quite interesting. In the second perk column, we have another new perk, Sympathetic Arsenal, so reloading after a final blow also reloads stowed weapons. Now, that is a combo with Outlaw. Get a precision kill, get a really fast reload, and then switch to your stowed machine gun, grenade launcher, whatever is the more powerful weapon that you had to switch off of, and it's suddenly reloaded. So that is a combo there. We also do have Demolitionist. I absolutely love this perk. It's going to increase your grenade regeneration and also instantly reload the magazine when you throw a grenade. We also have moving target to increase target acquisition and movement speed when aiming down sights. And then lastly, we have slideways. Sliding partially reloads the magazine and temporarily boosts handling and stability. Like, those are the highlight decent or good perks in this perk pool. So kind of what combinations should you be going for? Well, firstly, let's talk about PvE, because again, that's where this weapon is going to function a little bit better unless, we see a meta change. Well, for perk number 1, you're really looking at either subsistence or outlaw, letting you either not have to reload as much or reload very, very fast. Either way, you're going to be spending more time shooting and less time reloading, which in a PvE environment is always fantastic. Then in that second perk column, you're really looking at Demolitionist here. That is the standout PvE all-star, and it has proven itself to be really, really good. Right now with armaments, now armaments are actually disappearing, so maybe Demolitionist's stock is going down next season, but right now it's still performing excellently. You also have Oppressive Darkness in the mix this season as well, and remember, a lot of activities have Grenadier as a modifier, which makes grenades do more damage, so having access to a good gun with Demolitionist is actually quite important for farming those. But moving on to PvP. There's actually a really interesting PvP role here, and I think a lot of people have been overlooking it, and that is the Wombo combo of, in that first perk column, Killing Wind. That's gonna massively increase your mobility after a kill, and then you combine that with the traditionally quite good in PvP Moving Target perk. So here's the thing, moving target has always been decent in PvP because one of the most common things you're going to do in the Crucible is strafe side to side when you're fighting an opponent, right? You're trying to make them miss while trying to not miss yourself, obviously. And moving target, letting you move a little bit faster, gives you an advantage in those type of gunfights. Here's the thing. That new Killing Wind perk and the massive increase to mobility accomplishes the same thing. That's one of the reasons why it's so good on the Cold Denial. You get a kill and you can strafe left to right a lot faster, letting you win the next gunfight. So when you combine those two perks, and this is the only gun in the game that can get that combo, you have potentially the fastest strafe speed possible for a weapon. And you can see that in action right here. When I strafe from one wall to the next with a different horror story that doesn't have any of these perks, I do it in 4.7 seconds. Then I switch to one with moving target and Killing Wind, and I'm capable of doing it in 4.5 seconds, so a little bit of a buff there. But then if I activate Killing Wind, 3.8 seconds. That is a significant difference. Like, you are strafing so much faster, and I think that is going to give you a huge advantage in gunfights. The only downside to this role is the fact that its archetype isn't doing too well, but this by far is the role I would go after. Again, it's incredibly unique. No other gun can get it so far, so getting your hands on it in case this archetype gets buffed is going to be very valuable. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.